Please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get the regular updates of my channel, and do not forget to like, comment and share. Hello everyone, welcome back to SaaS with ServiceNow. This is part of training for learning JavaScript with ServiceNow. The next topic is loop in JavaScript. What are loops in JavaScript? Loops are used to execute the block of code repetitively. For example, let's say you want to print a value of a variable 10 times. There is one way in which you can print the output by writing same code 10 times, like gs.print. But JavaScript has a smart solution for this kind of output, in which 2-3 lines of code can print same output, and that solution is loop in JavaScript. We have 3 different types of loops in JavaScript: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Starting with for loop. The syntax of for loop is you start with for keyword. That's a reserve word which you have to use with for loop. And then you put 3 statements in brackets. And then you put curly brackets, and within these brackets, you can write the code which will be executed in loop. And these 3 statements which we have mentioned in brackets, that is S1, S2 and S3 after for keyword, these are basically lines of code which are executed. For example, you have I equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus. Now all these 3 statements are used in for loop. And if I talk about the first statement, the first statement is executed only once, and that is also before code in main block is executed. So whatever code you want to execute in this main block, that means in curly brackets, before that code, this first statement will be executed. Then we have second statement, that is I less than 5. Now this is basically the condition that till when code in main block should be executed. So this will decide the condition. Now the code which you have mentioned, the following code which you have mentioned in curly brackets, that code will keep on executing till this condition is true. Once this condition will return false, in that case, code will not be executed. That's for second statement. And then we have third statement, that is I plus plus. Now this particular statement runs every time when code in the main block is executed. So whenever this code will be executed, this third statement will also be executed. In this case, it is basically incrementing this I. So we have given the value to I as 0. So 0 has been assigned to I. We are also putting the condition this I should reach less than 5. And then we are also adding one value in I as well. So that means it will become first 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4, and it will stop. So basically this loop will stop at 4. So till I will become 4, this loop will execute till that particular value, and then after that it will be stopped. But what exactly it is doing in third statement, it is keep on adding the value to I variable. That's a I variable we have used, that is I equal to 0. So initially we assigned the value, and then we are also incrementing it, and at the same time we are also putting the condition in second statement. Now this way, same code can be executed multiple times. So as per the condition, as per the statements you will mention in for loop, that's how your same code, whatever code you will write in these curly brackets, will be executed. JavaScript also has for in loop, which loops through properties of an object. So here you can see we have employee object. And if we need to access all properties of the employee object, then what exactly I can do? I can start with for keyword. That's basically the syntax of for loop, but at the same time, we are talking about for in loop. So in that case, what I will do, I will basically put a, that's just a random variable, you can say. It's just a variable you are picking up. And then you put in keyword. Now in is again a reserve word, which is basically used with for in loop. And then you have object, the name of the object, that is employee in this case. So you will put any variable, then in, and then you put the name of the object for which you want to access the properties. And then you put brackets. So these A in employee should be in brackets. And then you put curly brackets. So after putting for A in employee, then you put curly brackets. And the reason behind it, because we have to run that particular code. And that code in this case is basically we are going to access the properties. So you put the name of the object, that is employee, and then you put that variable, that is A, and that is also in square brackets. Now in this case, this will loop all the properties we have this employee object. So whatever properties we have, that's first name, last name, EID. This employee A will be able to access all the properties. And if you want to print them, that is also possible. So you can just print. So for example, if you can store these values in one of the variable, and then you can also print it, it will print all the values, all the properties, all the value of properties we have, like John, Cooper, and then we have employee ID, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how you can loop basically and access the properties of any object with the help of for in loop. Next is while loop. While loop runs as long as condition is true. So the syntax of while loop is you use while keyword, that's a reserve word. So you can see here, so we have while keyword first, and then you put any condition in brackets. Basically that condition has to be true in order to run the loop. Then you put curly brackets. Now within these curly brackets, you put the code which you want to execute in loop. And this code will be executed. It will continue to be executed until that condition is true. And if this condition will return false, then this code will not be executed. So whenever you want to run a code and you're expecting some kind of output, or maybe you want to run that code multiple times, but you definitely want to put some condition. So in that case, you can just put while keyword, you put the condition in brackets, and then you put that code which you want to basically execute multiple times till that condition you have mentioned is true. And that is also in curly brackets. Then we have do while loop, which is kind of another version of while loop. However, its syntax is quite different. Now do while loop execute the code first and then check if condition is true and then repeats the execution. So if I talk about action point of view, it is slightly different. So the syntax of do while loop is use do keyword, that's a reserve word which you have to use with do while loop. And then you put curly brackets. Now in this curly bracket, you will put the code which you want to execute in loop maybe, or you just want to execute that code, but now you want to execute that code in loop. Now what you do, then you put while. That's while keyword, and then you also put condition in brackets. So it is slightly different from while loop. In while loop, you check the condition first and then execute the code. But here it is kind of, I would say, opposite. It basically runs that code once and then it checks the condition. Is it returning true? If it will return true, then it will execute the code again. And then again, it will check the condition. So until that condition is becoming true, this code will continue to run. And once it is false, then code will not be executed anymore. So the difference between do while and while, in while, the code can only be executed if condition is true. But in do while, code will be executed, but it will only be repeated if condition is true. So that's a difference between while loop and do while loop. Let's understand with live examples. And we will start with for loop. Now let's say we have to print 5 values, 5 different numbers, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can we do that? So in order to print these values, I have to assign these values maybe to the variables. So for that, what I will do, I will start with var a equal to 1 because I have to print these values. Then I will do var b equal to 2, and then I will do var c equal to 3, and then I will do var d equal to 4, and then I will do var e equal to 5. And if I have to print these values, so for that I have to gs.print, I will put first variable semicolon, and I have to put it 5 times. So in that case I will, and here I will change these variables. So I have b, c, d, and then I have e. Now if I will run this script, this will definitely print all these values. That means I will get the output as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I run this, you can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is, we have written 10 lines of code over here. And let's say if I ask you to print maybe 100 numbers, will you keep on writing these lines of code? That means 100 times, not even 100. I think we have to print 5 values, so we used 10 lines of code. I think for 100 values, you have to use 200 lines of code. But that's how you don't do in JavaScript, because JavaScript comes with the power of loop. So the first example we're talking about is for loop. So we will try to print these values with for loop. So what I will do, I will quickly remove these lines of code and I will start with for loop. Now, as part of this use case, we have to print 5 numbers, 5 values. So what I will do, I will start with for loop. Here I will assign, basically I will have add a variable that's I, and then I will provide a number to it. So we want to print the values from 1 to 5. So the minimum value I will take as 1 over here. Then I will put the condition. Now I want to run this loop because I want to print values till 5. Once I will reach 5, I don't want to execute that code anymore. So what I will do less than equal to 5. Then I will give semicolon. And then I will basically tell, because the first value is 1 for I, and I want to increment it. I want to increase it. So every time it will execute that code, I will add 1 additional value to that particular I variable. So in that case, what I will do, I will give curly brackets. Now here I will write the code which I want to run in loop. And that code is, because we have to print the output. So what I will do, I will just do gs.print, and I can put I over here. Now, how exactly this will run the code? So when this will run the code, it will start from here. For, okay, that's fine. It will check the initial value we are assigning to I is 1. That means now it becomes 1, and then it goes over here, I. That means it will print 1. Then it will go again, check for the condition that, hey, is it meeting the condition? It will check, yes, I is still less than 5. So that means, so it is true. But at the same time, before this checking the condition, this code always gets executed. Now this code gets executed once only once. Then once this code is executed, because now it is returning true. So we have I equal to 1 and I is definitely less than equal to 5. So it is returning true, and then it goes over here and it will print 1. Then it goes back and runs this code, that is this statement, that is incrementing. So as of now, the value of I was 1, then it is adding 1 as well. So it becomes 2 now. And then it will check the condition that, hey, is 2 less than equal to 5? Answer is true. Then it will execute this code again. And that's how this whole loop will keep on running till the value of I will be less than equal to 5. And I'm sure it will stop it once we will have value for I as 5. So in that case, if I run this script, so you can see now we only have four lines of code. And if I run this, you will see same output. There's no difference, not even a difference of dot. You can see same output has been printed over here. And if you will see the code, we have just used 4 lines of code. And in previous section, we used 10 lines of code. Now, if I have to print 100 values, I can just do it without increasing the lines of code. How exactly I can do that? Maybe I will do it, I will make it 20. If I will print it, it will print the values. The output will be till 20. If I run this, you can see. So that's how you can keep on adding numbers. It's totally up to you as per your requirement. But if I give you the difference, the without loop, it will definitely increase the lines of code you're writing. So the best approach is wherever you see that you have to repeat the same code. In that case, you should always use loop in JavaScript and also in ServiceNow as well while doing coding in JavaScript in ServiceNow. Now let's see how loop works, for loop works with array. So what I will do, I will go back over here and I will try to create an array variable. So we will do var a equal to, let's say I will maybe create an array. Here I will write maybe Honda. I'm just trying to put all the names of the cars. I will put Honda and I will put maybe BMW and I will do comma and maybe I will give any maybe Tata. That's it. So we have 3 brands. So we have this array. Now how exactly I can print these array values, the values we have in this array A array. So in that case, I will start with this for, and here I will do I equal to 0. Now, when you have to do loop, basically with array, in that case, you have to basically work with index. So if you remember, in array we have index. This is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So in that case, we will start with I equal to 0. Now what I will do, maybe I think we can just quickly put it over here. We can put the length. Now how exactly we will make sure that this loop should run, that these values should print till here, till Tata. So in that case, what I will do I is less than, and I can do a dot length, that is length. Now why I'm doing that, a dot length? The reason behind it, because length of this array is 3. Index definitely is 0, 1, 2. But if I talk about length, the length is 3. So, and I want to basically run this loop till this third one. And that is second index. And that's the reason I'm taking I less than a dot length. That is I is less than 3, which is 2. So this loop will run till 2 only, and that is 2 is Tata, that's the index. So what I will do, then I will come over here and I will do I plus plus, because every time I have to go to the next index. So initially it will start with 0 index and then it will go to the next index by incrementing the values. And then I will do like this, maybe I will do gs.print and I can do a, and now I can just put square bracket and I can put I. That's it, because I is holding the index number. So it will print, because if you remember, if we have to access an array, the whatever values we have in an array, if you have to access it, in that case we always use index number. In this case, we are storing all the index number in I variable. So we are just putting this I over here, and then I am putting this semicolon, and if I will run this script, it will print all these values with just one loop, and this is not long code. If you remember when we were talking about array, and you can see that section as well if you have not learned array as well. So I have one of the section, you can find the link in the description as well. So in that case, you can basically learn array, and in array, if you have to access these values, you have to definitely print it separately. But now in this case, with the help of loop, I can just access them with just very short line of code over here. So what I will do, I will just quickly click on run script, and it says data is not defined. That's fine, I think. Okay, because we didn't put it in codes. Now I will run this, and you can see over here we have Honda, BMW, and Tata. So we are basically able to print all the values of that particular array with the help of for loop. So this is how you can use for loop in JavaScript, and also while doing programming in JavaScript in ServiceNow. Now let's talk about while loop. Let's see the live examples of while loop. Now we can get the same output what we were getting with for loop as well. So in that case, I will just quickly remove this, and I will start writing the while loop syntax. So I have while, so that's a keyword we have to use for while loop, and I have to put the condition. Now the condition is that basically code should be executing till the number reaches to 5. So I will do I equal to less than equal to 5, and then I can put curly brackets. Now where we have the value, the minimum value of I, we don't have it. So what you can do, I can just put over here where I equal to 0. I can start it from here, and then I can do gs.print, and I can do like this I, and the most important part is this will definitely print it multiple times. But how exactly it will print, what values? Because if I will just leave it as is, in that case it will keep on printing because just one value, because you are just giving one value as of now, that is 0. But how it will print, how exactly it will print, and I think this will go in infinite loop. The reason behind it, because it is not increasing it, and every time it will check, it will have same value till I think it will not be able to reach 5, because every time it will return 0 value for I. So in that case, what I can do, I think I can just put I++. Now this will increment the value of I. That means after printing this value, that this particular variable here, that means first is 0. I think we can make it 1. That's fine. Yep, we have to make it 1 because you have to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So so the first value. So if I talk about how exactly this code will execute, so I will start it from here maybe. So first this will come here. It will assign a value to I, that is 1, and then it will go to the loop, that is while. It will check the condition that hey, is 1 less than equal to 5? Answer is true. Then it will execute this code. Once this code will be executed, it will print the value of I, which is 1 right now. And then it will come to this code, this line of code, where it will add one value to that particular value of I, that is 1, and then 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. That means now the value of I becomes 2. Then it will come over here. It will check again the hey, do I have this value less than equal to 5 again? If answer is true, it will then execute this code again, and this will continue to execute till we are getting this I is less than equal to 5. If I is greater than 5, in that case this particular code will not be executed. But let's run this script, and you will see the same output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No difference. You can see exact same output. Code is definitely different. Syntax is definitely different. There we used for loop. Here we are using while loop. So it's totally up to you and what different situation and what kind of use case you have, so that you can use for loop or while loop. Now another loop we have is do while loop. That's quite different from while loop. It is just, you can say, a brother of while loop, but syntax is definitely different, and the style of running, the execution sequence is also different. So in that case, what I will do, I will just quickly maybe remove this, and I will start with do this time. So I will just do. So do is one of the keyword which you have to use for do while loop, and I can just put this code. I will put like this, cut it over here. I will put now this will always execute this code, gs.print I, and what I can do, I will put I here again, I equal to 1, because I have to get the same output. So it will see, hey, I have the value of I as 1. It will print it. That's totally fine. But then it will check, and I will remove this code. Then it will check as well for next time. So it will definitely print it over here, but now it will check for next time if it has to print it. Is it less than 5? Less than equal to 5? If answer is true, then it will print it. But what exactly we need to do? As you know, if I will just run this, I think this will definitely go in infinite loop. The reason behind it, we're getting 1, it is printing over here, and then we're getting value I as 1, and then it will check the condition. Is it less than equal to 5? True. It will execute this again. Then it will check again, same, because I is still 1. We're not incrementing it. We're not changing the value of I. So this will keep on executing. So what I will do, I will do it I++. Why? Once I will print this, I will increment the value of I. That means first it will print 1, then it will print, basically make the value of I to 2, and then check the condition. And if I will, and this will not run in infinite loop. So if I will click on run script, you will see same output, not even a difference of dot, same output, but the syntax of code is definitely different. But as I mentioned, we have while loop and do while loop. Both are kind of same, but the style of, or the sequence is quite different. Like in while, you check the condition first, execute the code, but in do while, you run the code once and then check the condition if you want to repeat the same code. That's how you can use for loop, while loop, and do while loop. In further series, I will be showing you all these JavaScript examples, whatever elements we have in JavaScript, like variables, conditions, loop, functions, all those things I will show you with live examples, not just with JavaScript. I will also write those JavaScript in ServiceNow. That is also in ServiceNow language, not just a normal JavaScript language. We will use ServiceNow APIs so that I can show you, so that you can understand better that how you can apply this JavaScript knowledge in ServiceNow development. So I hope you like this video. Thank you and have a great day.